Ladies and gentlemen, babies and elephant, welcome to another new video. My name is Bosley, and today I want to bring for you guys Miner Saboteur for this 3.15 Expedition League. Yes, another league has just dropped. I've been having so much fun for this league, and I hope you guys have been having fun as well. So I've never played any Miner builds before, and I was very excited to try this out, and it turns out it was very fun and very effective, and not to mention always very cheap. The budget to pull it off at the end game is pretty easy. You don't need a ton of investment compared to a lot of builds out there, and it does the job really well. If you ask me, is Miner a very fun and a very reliable league starter, I would say yes. There are tons of league starters out there that are very reliable as well. For example, like Toxic Rain, like dot builds. There are something like you can try Cyclone as well, but Cyclone you can start rather late in the game. For this one, yeah, it's very effective, and the map clearing is pretty awesome as well. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So today I'm going to explain a bit more on the leveling steps. I've already added some leveling skill trees and leveling nodes in the PoB as well, which I've never done before, which I want you guys to understand, like how to level the character, what to get, what gems to get, where to get it, and how to level up your skill tree and have a very enjoyable experience playing this build. So definitely we are going for Saboteur. So Saboteur is actually quite straightforward. So Saboteur, the first thing that I want to pick up will be Born in the Shadows. So why Born in the Shadows? Born in the Shadows gives us a ton of survivability because of the permanent blind enemies on hit, and nearby enemies are blinded. So when they are blinded, it gives you it gives them a harder time to hit you, hence giving you more survivability. And you can't be blinded as well, and 10% reduced damage taken from blinded enemies. So nearby enemies who are blinded, when they hit you, you take 10% less damage. I would really strongly suggest that you go for this one because it's a very good defensive layer before going into any of the offensive nodes in the Ascendancy point. To be honest with you, for Miner build, in terms of offensive points, there isn't much. Even the offensive part, it's like it's okay, but it's not as effective as many other offensive nodes out there for other builds. So I would suggest to go for the defensive layer first, which is going for Born in the Shadows. And then after that, I would suggest to go for Pyromaniac. So what the Pyromaniac does is that it gives you immunity to Ignite and Shock. So you're immune to Ignite and Shock, which means that you're taking less damage from Shock because of the Shock effect, and you won't take burning damage from the Ignite as well. Really cool. And also you get 2% of life regenerated per second if you detonated each mine recently, up to 10%. So if you have 2000 life, you get 200 life regen every second, up to which when you trigger all your mines, it's up to 10% depending on how many mines you triggered. So this one gives you a very good life regen, because technically when you play a mine build, you're not actually hitting the enemy, your mines are hitting the enemy. So most of the effects out there that gives you on kill, leech, all that does not apply to you, sadly. But there is also a pro from that instead of just the cons. The pros is you won't get reflected damage because you are not dealing the damage, your mines are dealing the damage. So yeah, that's like a win-lose kind of situation, but I still think it's very useful because you get this life regen instead of leeching, so you can get better survivability. As you can see out there, there's a lot of mining builds I'm pretty sure you've seen in the YouTube channel, YouTube videos. Most of their health are like below 3k or below 4k, that kind of thing. That's not because that is because they have very good defensive layers. That's why I want to emphasize that a little bit more, so you guys don't have to worry too much about playing the build. And after that, you want to go for bomb specialist. So this one gives you increased area effect for each mine, and also increase the mine throwing speed. So the mine throwing speed is like attack speed or a cast speed, right? So the faster you throw the mines, the more it will stack up, and the more it will stack up, the explosion will deal the stack damage to the enemy. Now, one thing about mines, right? So there is like 2 ways to play this mine as you map or as you kill a boss. So the way that you can play is like you can plant one and then detonate, right? So there's a designated button for it. It's the D button to detonate the mines. If you don't detonate, it will not explode. Sometimes when you cast a mine on the enemy, it will hit them for a partial damage, or when it explodes, but not all of it will trigger. So the one way you can play is like run. As you run, you plant one and then you trigger, plant one, you trigger, plant one, you trigger, plant one, you trigger, right? So every time you plant a mine, it will reserve a small amount of your mana pool. That's why you can't assign too many auras or reserve too much of your mana pool, because the mines reserves your mana. So as you can see here, right, so the reservation for each mine will be 20 mana. At the moment now, I can go up to 19. As you can see here, I can go up to 19 mines, right? So 19 times 20 will be like 380 mana will be reserved. So when you detonate, the reserve mana will be released and your mana will be regen back to where it was, okay? So casting the mine will cost, and it will also reserve the mana as well. So just keep that in mind. So increase the throwing speed will, in other words, increase your DPS, because you can stack up more mines, which means that you can deal damage faster. So every, let's say, the other method that I was talking about, there's 2 methods. The other method will be stacking all the mines at once, up to 19, and just let it trigger. Right? So each mine stacked to each other will get additional 5% increased damage taken by the enemy or nearby enemies. So you want to stack as much as you can, so you will all trigger and stack up. Will deal a much larger amount of damage to the enemy. Okay, now that is the Ascendancy. The last Ascendancy point you want to get will be Explosive Expert. So this one gives you a crit chance to shock enemies, since we are not chilling or we are not burning any enemies, so the other 2 doesn't apply to us. But it gives you a ton of crit chance, especially for this new league. There are some nerfs with the crit based skills and stuff, so you definitely want more crit chance in this build as well. So that is the Ascendancy. The next thing you want to talk about is gears. Now the gears here, I have a tabular. You do not need a tabular to play this build. Any falling or 3 league even, you can have it very viable to play. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I have a tabular because I can afford it, but if you can't, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, you don't worry about the tabular. Now, on the wands, right, you want to get a wand that gives you +1 level to all lightning spell skill gems. This will give you increased level to all your lightning spells, so your arc, your added lightning damage, let's see here, even your Herald of Thunder. All these lightning spell gems that has the lightning tag on it will get additional 2 levels, because I have 2 wands over here, okay? So +1 and +1 will be +2. Other than that, you want to get like lightning damage to spells, or you can get crit multi or crit chance, whichever works for you, if you can get. Okay, make sure you get wands. For the helmet, just get life res, and yeah, that's about it. It doesn't really matter now because it's just league starting anyway, so don't worry too much about the gear. Okay, for the boots, just life and res and some move speed. Same thing, life and res and life and res. And the ring, life and res. Okay, so I want to talk about this unique, right? So this unique, you can pick it up for less than 1 chaos on the flea market, or sorry, the trade market. Sorry, not flea market. Playing too much of Tarkov. If you guys know what Tarkov is, it's a very fun game to play as well. But I'm not here to talk about Tarkov. I'm here to talk about PoE. Okay, so why this amulet? I'm just using it temporarily because I find it very interesting since I cannot be blinded. So this one gives you increased damage against with hits and ailments against blinded enemies. So nearby enemies are blinded because of our Ascendancy node, so you will get always 40% increased damage. And you get crit chance as well against blinded enemies. And chance to blind enemies on crit strike, it doesn't really matter because nearby enemies are already blinded. Blind does not affect your light radius, and blight you inflicted will be reflected to you. So that means we are immune to blind, so we do not really need to worry about the last line of this only drawback of the amulet, which is really cool. So I decided to use this one, and it's cheap. And another very useful ring I would suggest you trying to use will be profane proxy. So what this thing does is, when you spawn skitterbots, there will be a chilling skitterbot and there will be a shocking skitterbot. There will be two skitterbots over here. So usually we don't really utilize the chilling one too much. Yes, it slows down the enemy and all that, but we can make it into a better use. Now the shock one, obviously we need the shock one to shock the enemies nearby. But instead, what this ring does is, if you put this ring on your left slot, your chilling skitterbot will apply the Hex Curse. Now we want to apply a Hex Curse, which is conductivity, so nearby enemies, cursed enemies will get minus 47 lightning resist. That's a huge penetration to the enemy. And the cursed enemy will be chance to get shocked as well. And when the skitterbot runs around, it's applying the aura for you. So that means you don't have to click anything. It's applying conductivity to all the nearby enemies as long as the skitterbot is there. For a person like me who is lazy, if you are lazy just like me, this is a perfect combination you can use. Rather than using blasphemy and stuff, you can also use blasphemy and conductivity and cast it as an aura, but you will reserve more mana for your mana, and we need it to cross our minds. So yeah. So this is what I strongly suggest you can try it out. It's pretty fun. And that is the gear. Next thing we're going to talk about the gem links. Now the gem links here, the main gem link we're going to talk about will be Arc, linked with the added lightning damage, Swift Assembly, Blast Chain Mine, Trap and Mine damage, and lastly will be Inspiration Support. Now if you are playing a 4-link, make sure you get an Arc, Blast Chain Mine, Swift Assembly, and Added Lightning. If you have a 3-link, make sure you have Arc, Blast Chain Mine, and Swift Assembly. Okay, so remember this. Otherwise, 6-link, you can follow whatever is this. Okay, so the additional defensive layer we have is Steel Skin. So Steel Skin will give us a buff that can take up to a certain X amount of damage, depending on the skill level of the skill gem. This one is level 16, so it takes us up to 1317 damage. So when I click Skill Skin, it applies a Skill Skin, and a buff that will take the damage from you. So we'll give you additional more defensive layer. Val Grace is definitely something that you want to get, just to be using the Val Grace, because whenever you can trigger, it gives you 32% chance to dodge, attack, and spell hits. Really good for the defensive layer. Wavecom Conviction for the enemy to reduce their resistances. Herald the Thunder just for a little bit additional damage from boost from the gem. Summon Skitterbots. We have Orb of Storms and Lightning Damage and Culling Strikes. So this one is just to finish off like the bosses and unique bosses and stuff. Here's Conductivity in the ring. And for mobility, we'll be using Flame Dash with the Second Wind and Arcane Surge. So whenever you Flame Dash, you get Arcane Surge. Arcane Surge gives you a buff that gives you additional spell damage. And just leveling up some gems over here, and summon Stone Golem for life regen as well. So I'm pretty focused a lot on the defensive layers for this build, because I'm a bit skeptical on playing low life, but apparently it came up and worked out pretty well. So don't worry. Next up, we're going to talk about the Flask choices. Now, the Flask choices will be Life Flask with immunity to bleeding and corrupted blood, Diamond Flask for the crit, and you want to make sure you get a Mana Flask that gives you this specific mod, which is Flask effect is not removed when unreserved mana is filled. So that means when, you know how when you your Flask fills up, if it's full, the Flask effect will stop, right? So this one, which means that even though the mana is full, it will still regenerate mana over time until the some amount will be complete. So it will be very important, and I would suggest that you get this mod. Quicksilver Flask for mobility and more movement speed, and Jade Flask for more evasion rating, and also game immunity to chill and freeze. Okay, so these are the flasks. And the next thing I want to talk about, I will go over to the POB just to give you more insight on the leveling steps. I will also include the notes and everything in the POB as well. So if you don't remember, you can just refer back to the POB. Okay, so here we are in the POB link. So the note here, I have give you some suggestions. So at the beginning, you want to use Storm Blast Mine and Chance to Poison. This is your leveling skill. All the way up to your 42, only start using Arc and the Blast Chain Mines. So anything before that, Storm Blast Mine will do a perfect job for you. Don't worry. It's a very good beginner skill gem, and it does the job really well, and it just almost obliterates all the bosses in the ELA stage. As long as you stack up all the mines that explode at once, all good. So Stormblast Mines, and then when you get level 4, you're going to get Orb of Storm and get Swift Assembly. So Swift Assembly gives you a chance to plant out more mines instead of just one by one. And Dash and Arcane Surge for you, so you can move around faster. When you reach level 8, Orb of Storms and Added Lightning damage. Level 10 with Flame Dash and Arcane Surge. You want to switch out your Dash for Flame Dash since you have spell damage, so it will deal some damage when you move around as well. Level 14, you want to get Stormblast Mine, Swift Assembly, and Added Lightning damage. Wave Conviction. 16 will be Skitterbots and Herald Thunder. 20 will be Orb of Storm and Added Lightning damage, Flame Dash, and so on and so forth. 24, you can get Conductivity. Now, after Act 5, when you reach about level 42, that's when you start using the Arc. So you want to get Arc and Blast Chain Mine. Without Blast Chain Mine support, you can't use Arc. So you have to make sure you have these two combinations, Swift Assembly and Added Lightning damage, depending on how many links and slots you have. The rest is all the same, okay? After 60, after Act 6, you can add in like Trap and Mine damage if you want. And put in another defensive layer, cast when damage taken, and Immortal Call, or you can just use Steel Skin later on. It's up to you. Where to get the gems is all over here, so don't need to worry. And last but not least, we are going to talk about the skill tree. Now the skill tree, I've already listed out 3 different sections. That's level 1 to level 30, up to level 60, and level 60 and above. So I'm going to talk about the level 1 to level 30 first. So you will be starting off from a shadow, which will be here, and this is where you want to move out. So you want to pick up elemental damage and pick up trickery. So this one gives you increased damage, crit chance, and dexterity and intelligence. Blood Siphon for more life and life gain on kill. Assassination for crit chance and crit multi, and Saboteur for additional traps placed at the time, and mine damage. After that, you're going to move up and pick up successive detonations. So this one gives you crit chance for each mine, and crit multi for each mine as well. Really good. And then volatile mines for 2 additional remote mines placed at a time. And then after that, you can pick up Doomcast. So this one gives you crit chance and crit multi for your spells, and Written in Blood for more life and some energy shield. So this is the first 30 levels that you get, first 30 skill points. First 30 levels, yeah, you will get eventually about 32 skill points. And then after that, you want to go to the next part, which will be up to level 60. So from here, you want to move down, and then you want to pick up Blast Cascade. So this one gives you gain a power charge when you trigger a mine recently. And then after that, you want to pick up all the nodes here, because all these are miner and trap nodes. So this one, Clever Construction gives you mines cannot be damaged in the 5 seconds after you cast it. Crit multi for mines. And then after that, mines penetrate elemental resistances. And then after that, you want to pick up Blood Drinker, so you get more life. And then you move down here, you want to pick up Efficient Explosive. This one gives you mine damage, reduced reservation of the skills when you throw the mines. And mines have 10% chance to be detonated an additional time. And here is another defensive layer that we have, which will be Phase Acrobatics and Acrobatics, so it gives us dodge. So as you can see here, we have about we have max resistances maxed out, and we also have block chance of 10%. Attack dodge we have 72%, and spell dodge we have 62%. That is including if we have them blinded. Nearby enemies is blinded. Yeah. Okay. Moving on, down here we have Heartseeker, so for some crit chance and crit multi. And then after that we have Herbalism. And then we have Arrow Dancing, which is 40% more chance to evade projectiles, 20% less chance to evade melee attacks. It's fine, because they are blinded anyway. Melee attacks doesn't do that much, but the projectiles is the one that will, fuck you up. And last but not least, we go up to 60 plus. So 60 plus here will be, over here, you want to pick up Thick Skin, and then after that, Wind Dancer. So Wind Dancer prevents you from getting one hit most of the time because of the 20% less damage if you haven't been hit recently. And then after that, you want to move up to the left and pick up Arcane Will. This one gives you life regen, life and extra additional energy shield and extra mana, life and mana, and some spell damage and intelligence, and some crit chance and crit multi for Annihilation. And after that, you want to go for Cruel Preparation and Deep Thoughts as well from the skill tree. And that's about it for the League Start. Forgot to mention, we also have to talk about the Bandits. So the Bandits, you want to help Lyra for the crit multi and also the resistances. And the Pantheon will be using Lunaris for some damage reduction nearby. And also, actually, we are supposed to use Garukan for the chance to evade attack hits if you take a savage hit recently. So that is the Pantheons. Alright, at the end of this, the pros and cons. Well, the pros, we have a lot of pros and very little cons, fortunately. We have pros, which is very cheap to play with, very easy to play with, very budget friendly, does a huge chunk of damage in a single target, and also insane clear speed, as you can see from the showcase earlier, because of Arc. And the cons, I would say, well, you have to click the detonate button, right? So it's not a trap. When you trap, you throw, you will explode. This one, you have to detonate. Yeah, that's the only annoying thing I find with the build. Other than that, I don't see any much of a problem, to be honest with you. In my opinion, at least. I've been having so much fun with this build, and the league mechanic has been very fun and very rewarding for me as well. Hope you guys are having the same fun as I did. And if you have any questions or you have any suggestions, do drop a comment down below in the comment section. And if you do like my videos, I do build guides on league starts and budget builds and all that. I do build. If you like my videos, please consider like and subscribe to my channel. It will help me grow my channel, and it helps feed me as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyable week ahead. I hope I see you guys on the next video. Peace out.